such a hot topic in Denver, Colorado right now, so I brought on Danielle to talk more about guidelines and how you can get involved and actually what an ADU actually is. My name is Katie. I'm Katie the Real Estate Gal in Denver, Colorado. I am a licensed real estate agent in this state. If you need help with buying, selling, or anything in between, I'm your gal. So I want to introduce Danielle, who is going to be helping with the guidelines and regulations for ADUs.
Thanks so much, Katie. Again, I'm Danielle Anderson. I'm with Waterstone Mortgage. I'm a lender here in Denver, and I also am a short-term rental host and advocate, which got me involved in the topic of accessory dwelling units because, like Katie mentioned, it is a super hot topic right now. So Katie, what would you like me to answer for you and your clients?
First off, I've had a lot of conversations recently of just like, oh, have you heard of an ADU? Not a lot of people know what it is. So can you explain what an ADU is?
Yes, so an ADU, the definition is accessory dwelling unit, also known as a granny flat or a carriage house or a mother-in-law suite. It's a smaller unit on the land that you already use. So people in Denver are interested in putting one up in their backyard for maybe they have kids and the mom, a grandma wants to live there to help take care of the kids, but they have their own space and kitchen and bathroom and bedroom out there, or perhaps they want an additional revenue stream and rent that out. So we'll kind of dive into some of those regulations and what you can and can't do with your ADU as well. Do you want me to get into that right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds great.
So the city of Denver is constantly going through and updating regulations. So this is true as of May 2022. They are working on helping some of these ADU regulations get more streamlined to help people be able to build them easier. But currently, I was looking at building an ADU about 2 years ago, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to build the smaller unit, just a 1 bed, 1 bath above my garage, and I wasn't able to live in there and short-term rent my main primary, which is a 3 bed, 2 bath. And the reasoning that the city of Denver says that it's not is that then my ADU would become my primary and the short-term rental wouldn't. And so unfortunately you can't build an ADU and live in it and short-term rent your main house. You could build an ADU and live in it and long-term rent the larger main house. So that's like one of the intricacies.
And this is for Denver specific.
Yes, everything I'm chatting about is just Denver. So if you're in Littleton or Arvada, it's going to be completely different regulations and you're going to have to get with somebody that knows those. So yeah, just the city of Denver. One of the other things that they're looking, or guidelines that they're looking to remove is currently you have to live on premise on the land that you own in order to rent out the ADU, long or short term. So that means if I was to build an ADU in my yard, rent this out to a tenant, I couldn't rent this bigger house and the smaller unit at the same time. You technically have to board up the unit if the owner of the land doesn't live there. So that is something that they're looking to change in 2023.
Does that kind of rolls into why you wouldn't want to build an ADU, right?
Yeah, so I think when you're thinking about building an ADU, one, you're looking at costs. So, what's your ROI, which is one of the reasons that I decided not to build it, is if I was able to short-term rent my larger home, my return on investment of building the ADU was gonna be about 3 years. But if I could only long-term rent the larger house, it was gonna take me like 7 years. So I decided against building the ADU. So yeah, why do you want it in the first place is the first thing that you have to ask yourself.
Now, you just talked a little bit about cost. Can you talk about financing an ADU?
Yes, so financing an ADU gets a little bit interesting. There could be programs, which Waterstone and myself do not have, that would be able to build the actual unit, but that's gonna be much more costly. So anything outside of what's called a conventional loan is typically more expensive because interest rates and cost of lending is all dependent on risk. So the cheapest or the most cost-effective way to finance something similar to an ADU is going to be conventional financing. So you could either do what's called a cash-out refinance, where you could take the equity. We've had historic equity gains in the last 2 years, so a lot of people are sitting on pretty significant money in their current house. You can tap into that money by refinancing. So you change your loan terms and you pull out that equity, and then you'd be able to build the new accessory dwelling unit with that money. Or you can get what's something called a HELOC. It's a home equity line of credit. So your regular primary mortgage stays the same. So let's just say you have a 3% rate. Well, I would not recommend a cash out refinance in most situations for you right now because I don't want to touch your 3% rate because the average rates in today's environment are about 5.25%. So there's no reason that we would touch a 3% interest rate to build on if we could do what's called a HELOC or a home equity line of credit. But that is something that I look at from a full financial picture with clients, is what makes the most sense for the client, and then I would refer that out to a local credit union that does do home equity lines of credit, which doesn't change their original loan terms. You would just be opening up a new, kind of like a credit card from your house, being able to tap in that equity and have what's called a subordinate lien or a second mortgage.
Thank you so much, Danielle, for all of this information. I'm Katie, the real estate gal in Denver, Colorado. So if you're looking to buy, sell, build an ADU, or anything in between, I would love to be a resource for you. Please hit the like button or subscribe to my channel so you get notified every single Wednesday when I release videos. Thanks so much for watching, and we have a couple more ADU videos coming your way. See you next time.